Hello and happy Thursday, everybody. It is Josh here with On the Wrong Lead. And we're BC's through. We kind of took a little bit of a breather last week and didn't really do too much with anything. We played around a little bit, but hey, Best Duct, Aqueduct, Winter Duct is here. And I know one person who's very excited about it. Mr. Caleb Knight. Caleb, how you doing?
Oh, I'm excited. I'm so glad that the premier racing venue in New York is open again. I'm sure Mark's probably yelling into his muted microphone, but I love the duct. I'm doing good and ready to get after it.
Yeah, you didn't play much today, right? You kind of been.
I've been so busy the past ever since Breeders' Cup. Honestly, I probably haven't bet more than $100 since Breeders' Cup. So things have been busy. Closing on the house, so got stuff going on there, and then I'm traveling back home to West Virginia for a week for Thanksgiving. So trying to pack and get everything together. So yeah, I haven't really played much, but I always take a little bit of a break after Breeders' Cup anyway. At least scale back for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely been kind of crazy. I know, for especially you and I and Brian, Mark. It hasn't really been busy for Mark at work because it just never is. Like, I don't know what Mark does all day, to be honest with you, because he just never seems that busy. But I know Brian's been super busy. I know, I've been working kind of a little bit later than I normally do. And I know you've been just getting killed, especially after the weather you got. I mean, it's probably since the weather you guys got a couple of months back. I know you guys were out of commission for a little bit. So, it's nice though, holidays coming up. And I know for you, the holidays coming up means degenning with your father. So I know you're gonna get some racing in. Our resident non-worker, Mark.
I mean, I basically sit around and handicap all day. Isn't that what everyone does at work? That's what I do. I mean, handicap the horses, play the horses, handicap for the next day's horses. Occasionally I sit in a meeting that I'm supposed to be knowledgeable about things and really don't add much to the conversation and, cap some more horses.
You just live a charmed life.
I live a life. It's just something. I mean, it's charm, but it is clearly something.
Yeah, and I see Ryan's already in chat here.
Hey, what's up, Ryan?
Saying what's up? And saying other than the Breeders' Cup, he didn't bet before or after. Yeah.
So, Josh, we can talk about last Sunday, or are we just gonna pretend that didn't happen?
Last Sunday, are we talking about the pick six?
Yeah. Or if we listen to one other, we're both buying multiple Miatas.
The funny thing is that I don't know if that's ever happened. Because the thing is that I used two horses in that first leg, right? I had there was a short price favorite in that first leg, yep. And I used that 12, that one at a decent price, 10-1, 12-1, something like that. And you hard singled the horse that I missed. And I had looked at it a bunch, and I was just like, "No, I'm good."
I picked the cheap speed. I hard singled the cheap speed, and you found some smart ass Dylan Davis on turf horse that you used that I didn't use. And had we listened to one another, we both hit the pick six for $90K.
Yeah, instead we got $880 for our trouble and 5 of 6. Well, you got a little bit more. You had a couple times. I
actually had 5 times. I was 5 deep in that first leg and didn't get to the winner.
Yeah, but speaking of 5 deep, Mr. BD Horse Player going to be 5 deep with the world's smallest violin there in the background. He's going to be 5 deep into 90-minute IPAs there. Rumor has it that you basically are keeping Dogfish Head alive.
I am. See, it's amazing that you happen to call that one out. But I'm more disappointed in the fact that you brought Mark on and started making jokes about him, and I'm in the background just sitting here like that was crap. That was planned. I know you did it on purpose. I'm not going to hold it against you though. I'll get even, Mark. Don't worry about it.
Look, it's just how it flows, man. Just how it flows. Road Warrior here. I knew Road Warrior was going to be tuning in as soon as Nairo came back. I knew he was going to be in. But especially with his disdain for the Breeders' Cup, he's very Massey-esque in that manner. So
doesn't he like the southern Naira though? He likes it when it's a little bit further south.
That's Parks.
Oh,
no,
Belmont?
No, on the island.
Belmont.
Yeah, I think he's more of a Belmont guy, isn't he?
He is, but I think
can't fault him there.
No, but he goes out to Lake George too.
I would love to know what his thoughts are on the legislation in New York for the money.
Nothing's going to happen.
No, it's going to be like Pennsylvania, but still great fodder.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I didn't realize that Pennsylvania didn't pass. That they're still feeding it. So I thought for sure like that was the beginning of the end, but I don't know. We'll see what happens. Anyways, so Brian, we know you got the 90 minutes. Mark, what do you got in your glass there?
I picked up a little bit of Oban, a little bit of the Oban 14, which was a Caleb. I don't think it was a Caleb or a Josh recommendation from a while ago, and good stuff. I really like it. It's really nice.
Oban, I think, is one of those. It's one of those like ones that I think everybody likes. Like if you like Pete, you still like Oban, and if you don't like Pete, you still like Oban.
Yeah, a little Pete, but it's got all those sort of notes you want in Scotch, and you're not paying one of the big name markup, prices. And I think for what it costs and what it is, it's a damn good Scotch.
Caleb, you got baby splash or anything sitting there?
I got nothing right now, actually.
Oh, look at this. This is.
Yeah, I've been on a rush today. I didn't even think to grab something. So I got water for tonight. I got an early flight tomorrow.
Yeah, I got my my R bourbon. No, it's coming out of focus. But this is R bourbon pick. For you guys who are on Reddit, if you go to R bourbon, you can they have their single barrel selection. It's a lottery system, but this is a Bullet. It's a 10-year. I think it's 10-year. I don't remember how many years, but this is delicious. This is really good. I got to send you guys a sample of it because I really liked it. I was able to pick up 2 bottles of it in the lottery, so I'll have some to sample out. And then next week is Bourbon County. It's the big Goose Island Day, so I'll be drinking a lot of beer over the holidays. Caesar already coming in with the news of the day, hoping Peter Miller hops on a show with all his additional time. I did see the press release coming out from the Peter Miller barn that he's taking some time away from horse racing.
Is this going to be like when Swift quit horse racing for 47 seconds? We're going to see Peter Miller at Emerald Downs.
What do we think? What's the translation of that? I'm stepping away from the game.
Maybe he's getting Hollendorfered.
That was the rumor originally, right? That everybody thought that California was going to give him the kick.
And that's the thing, right? It was all rumors, people talking. People are like, "Oh, he's going to Oak Lawn. He's going to Oak Lawn," and it's just really, Peter Miller doesn't really ship to Oak Lawn, but we'll see what happens.
He's definitely got some entries in on Saturday.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's still developing, and I'm sure we'll hear more in the coming days, and once somebody actually gets some answers out of what's going on there. But until then, you gotta bet them, I guess. But here's Road Warrior. He's gonna ask if last time we had a time opinions on who the 3-year-old champion is. The 3-year-old champion. It's got to be Medina Spirit, right?
Does it?
Why?
No.
No. Who you think it's going to be Essential Quality?
I think so.
Probably.
I think he did more.
The overall body of work, the unprotected.
Yeah, his overall body of work.
The non-Kentucky Derby questionable win. I think people will not vote for that just because.
Didn't Medina Spirit finish third in the Classic?
He was second in the Classic. Wasn't
second?
Yeah, second. They went second and third. They basically effectively crossed the line together. There wasn't a big separation there. Is winning the Derby as a 3-year-old that big of a thing, or is it the entire body of work? If it's the entire body of work, it's not Medina Spirit.
But
Mark, I really wish that when you talked, there would be a 30-second delay, and you'd get a teleprompter, that like crossed across like what you just said? Because I have a feeling that if you like heard yourself say, is winning the Derby as a 3-year-old really that big of a deal? Like,
I mean, okay, so you're saying that if you win the Derby, you are the 3-year-old champion. That's what you're saying, right?
I'm not,
I mean,
but
is that
I'm
the
saying
argument you're trying to make?
I'm
Because that's
not.
an
But
absurd argument.
what did Essential Quality win?
Travers.
I mean, what's
No.
better? What's better, Derby Classic or Travers Belmont? It's just what it comes down to.
I believe not having an asterisk next to your name for the Kentucky Derby is better.
And that's what you're exactly right. That's why I think Essential Quality is going to win. If there was no issue with Medina's Kentucky Derby, I think he's 3-year-old of the year, and I think he's probably horse of the year. But I don't think people are going to vote that way because it's still not resolved.
You think if Jackie's Warrior won the sprint, you think people would be all contrarian and be like, Jackie's Warrior is a champion 3-year-old?
Hey, mind blown. Life is Good is the best 3-year-old.
He is the best 3-year-old, but he's
He
not
is.
deserving of 3-year-old of the year. He
No.
hasn't done enough. And Josh, I think he'd get some votes, but I don't know if he'd win.
Ryan saying Medina Spirit best 3-year-old, especially considering it's a $10,000 horse. Protonico.
Cracks me up. I saw a Protonico ad on TVG or something the other day, and it's like average earnings index of like 6.1, higher than like Curlin. And it's like, yeah, that's because you have like fucking 6 foals that have raced, and one of them is in the Spirit.
Dude, my favorite Protonico nonsense is there was I already forget now, but there was a trainer who came out and said, this is ridiculous, like what Bafford's doing. Like, this is just nonsense. Like, people are just like, just ripping on him. And he ended up coming out and winning with a horse. Lady Protonico ended up winning some race and broke its maiden. And it was the same trainer. And I think Lady Protonico just won. I don't know if it was a stakes race or it was a nice allowance race or something a couple days ago. So that was kind of in my head. Oh, Ben Wilkie saying that EQ ran 10 times better in the Classic anyways. So Road Warriors just putting up a novel talking about losing by 1.5 in the Derby, ran 7 lengths further. No duds by Essential Quality. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Medina Spirit did run that dud of it wasn't the Haskell. What was
I would call
race?
it dud. His Preakness, I think he ran.
Preakness, there you go.
And I'll say to you, Caleb, you're talking about Jackie's Warrior. Yeah, Jackie's Warrior, maybe if it wins that, gets a couple votes. But if Run Happy doesn't win 3-year-old of the year that he won the Breeders' Cup Sprint, it's never going to happen. It's always going to be a classic distance horse. I mean, because it's, I don't know, it's sort of like the Heisman, right? The Heisman isn't the best player in college football. It's the best quarterback on the best team in the college football, and then that's what sort of some of these divisions, some of these have become.
I think Charles Woodson would like to have a couple words with you.
Yeah, but I mean, what, in '96? I mean, yeah,
that was literally the first. That was like the first college player that popped in my head. I don't even know. But I don't think people want to hear our bad voting takes here on champion 3-year-old. Well, Road Warrior does, but let's move on and take a look at this late pick 5 at Aqueduct. We've been playing. I've been playing a bunch of Duct. Using my wife's prowess of being able to pick names, I had a really good day today. So we're going to keep it rolling. I know there's a pick 6 carry tomorrow.
You mean your wife had a really good day and you just happened to tail it?
Well, I mean, I did have a note on the horse, but yeah, she'd love the name. So okay, cool. I don't know. It was a nice exacta. Leave me alone. Anyways, so there's going to be a nice carryover tomorrow, but we had kind of already planned to look at Saturday. So, I'm sure we'll be playing. I know Mark's going to be playing. Caleb will be on the flight. Brian will probably be trying to ensure that no one sticks their hand in the machine and goes past like a safety barrier for no reason. But, just, hop in Discord or messages on Twitter or whatever. Get some thoughts. We can talk a little pick 6 tomorrow. But, the Saturday card looks pretty good. We got some nice fields here. We got a stakes race that's got Caleb's name all over it. So I'm really excited to talk about this. So first leg here, 6 furlongs on the dirt, 3-year-olds and up. We got a nice optional claimer, 80,000 out here. Your morning line favorite is going to be the 2 cost basis at 6-5. Looks to be possibly lone speed in this spot, but isn't the horse I like the most here. Mark, what are you looking at here?
Yeah, I looked at cost basis, and I mean, cost basis is probably your most likely winner. Speed, especially on sprints, and on the Belmont Dirt, has been very, very good for most of the meet, and I think cost basis makes an absolute ton of sense. But man, this is a horse that just really doesn't like to win. The last win was that Maiden Breaker. I know Aqueduct at a mile, but the horse just kind of almost wins a lot, likes to cash checks, but just a horse that I don't know if that killer instinct's there, and a horse that I would never leave out of a trifecta, but a horse that I don't necessarily really fall in love with here. The horse that I'm sort of really intrigued with in here is the 7, Spun and Won, who is a horse that a lot more lightly raced. Figures out of that, the last couple don't quite line up with probably what's required to get it done in here. Needs to improve a little bit, but this is a race where none of these horses really like to win. T Loves a Fight likes to win, but I think his best races are a couple years ago. And I thought, Spun and Won was sort of the new fresh face in here that I really kind of liked. And I think, I don't know how I end up playing this sequence. I hate the defensive sort of A to cost basis, and it's kind of horse I probably end up tossing out. And I use like this, a lot of Spun and Won, and the other one I thought was a little interesting was Drafted, another horse that it has won, but not not a lot since coming over from the UAE.
You had to go, like, I was like, oh, I'm going to pick a horse here that no one's probably going to like, or maybe I thought it was going to be a little sneaky, taking the Park Shipper here with the 7 Spun and Won. But yeah, I really like Spun and Won here. And I mean, the reason is just form, like this horse has won recently. This horse is lightly raced, threw a clunker when he tried the turf, the horse seems to fit here. Looks like to be a sprinter. His 2 best races are sprinting. So, I'm not really so much looking at the fig here. I mean, I know the fig looks good on Briz. The pace figs look good on Briz, but, I can never trust a figure coming from Park. So, but what I can look at is, this horse, sat just off the pace and was kind of head and head with the leader and, pulled ahead in the end. So, I think that's going to be a good run style. The horse is going to be forwardly placed, and I think that Spun and Won at 5-1 is probably the play here. But if Mark likes it, then this horse is not going to be 5-1. It's probably going to be like 3-1. Let's see, Caleb, what are you thinking here?
Oh man, this was a tough race for me because I look at this race and I took a look at the cost basis and I'm like, oh, I'm definitely not using this horse, like absolutely not. And then I look at the rest of the field. And I'm just like, holy shit, like, who else can you really use here? Like, this field is awful. I mean, T loves a fight. T loves to, I don't know what he loves, but T doesn't love to win, at least not since, Y2K anyway. And the other horses in this race are just not good, or they've been beaten by cost basis by like 3 or 4 lengths. So, it might be one of those times I just kind of hold my nose and pick the bad chalk, because I feel like I'm really reaching anywhere else. I'd love for someone to try to convince me on another horse. You guys both like the 7. I kind of looked at him. I guess he's probably the least exposed, but I don't know how well that form is going to translate to New York from Monmouth and Parks. If I was going to take a second horse, it'd probably be the 3 Drafted. He's the only horse that can really compete on figs with the 2. And he had a real rough trip 2 back when they faced off against each other. That last race at the Bold Ruler came back pretty strong. So that's probably the one horse I'd probably look. He's a second choice in the morning line, so I'm not getting creative here. But I just really couldn't find anything that be on the top 2 chalks here. So that's probably the only 2 that I can find an argument to use.
Mr. BD Horse Player. Are you on the phone or are you muted? What are you doing?
I was muted. Sorry, I was in the process of texting Chad Brown, and he said that this is a real Chad. he is best known for keeping his horses in optional claimer 80,000s, non-winner of 2. So this is a good spot. and this horse is going to try this level for the 4th time now. I'm really excited about that. Irad stays aboard, so obviously the horse. I got nothing. I mean, this field sucks. I don't like it. I think Caleb's got the right approach. I think cost basis looks to be strong here. I like T Loves a Fight. I just don't think that the pace will be there to get T Loves a Fight home. And with that being said, it's like, okay, you want somebody who's a little forwardly placed. And, if I was going to make an argument for anybody, I try to make an argument for the 5, Mr. Phil. But I'm really stretching here, fellas. I mean, what you're hoping for is the horse runs like 3 back and is forwardly placed and can get a run. Jose picks the mount back up. Vargas came off after the last out at Belmont. And it's one of those horses that will have value, I think, because the 2's going to take the money, the 3's going to take the money, and then, Saez on the 7 always takes money. So a fair price in the 5 here. I think if we see 4-1, 5-1, I think it's a good price, and the horse looks good tomorrow or Saturday.
Yeah, and Ben Wilkie pointed out that he likes the 5 as well with Jose back up here. And I mean, it makes a little sense if you look back, the horse ran 4 really good races in a row, every single one of them with Jose aboard. As soon as Jose jumps off, the horse is just like nowhere near. And the horse even kind of, I guess going from an allowance race to optional claimer at Saratoga is probably about the same. It's probably more of a lateral move, but that makes a ton of sense. Maybe Jose just knows the horse a little bit better, or his riding style just fits the horse a little bit better. So that definitely might be an angle to look at here. Yeah, before we move on, like the one thing I hate about this too, and I know most of the guys in chat right now are regulars and who are here often, but for some of the newer people or some of the people who are a little bit newer to horse playing, like the thing that I just hate about this horse, like if you get caught up in just looking at these numbers here, these speed figures, and like I know these are Briz numbers, which like really don't mean too much. But like, yeah, if you look at these, like this horse looks great, right? Mark, how's this horse look on DRF? Does this horse look the fastest? Pretty clearly.
Yeah, but pretty close to it. Yep.
Yeah. And so like you could look at the number all you want, but the problem is that when you hit that number, but you're losing by 6 1/4 lengths, 4 1/4 lengths, 12 lengths, like what does the number really mean? Like at a certain point, the number just doesn't fucking matter if you're losing by 12 lengths, whether or not you're in the 80K claimer or 80K optional claimer or whatever. Like you kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. Similar to, I think, you look at a Parks Fig and you just kind of toss it because that number is probably going to be inflated for one reason or another. So I think that's kind of the reason. And I know that's why Caleb, I know, hates this horse. I mean, this horse just doesn't win. And if you don't win, I mean, like, great. You can throw a 94 Briz number. Who's going to throw the 95 that's going to beat you in this race, But
I was going to say Aloha West is, or sorry, I mean, the Chad.
Cost basis
is a little bit flattered by that 3-back Saratoga race as well.
Yeah. So just something to keep an eye out on. I mean, that's the type of horse I'm going to try and beat like 95% of the time. Even if it is like, Caleb is saying he's going to pinch his nose. He's going to take the bad truck. Well, I'm going to pinch my nose. I'm going to take one of these other shitty horses. Yeah, I'll probably go with a 7 here. So
I'm just going to say cheers. Thank you for talking that horse into the circle, Josh. That is now a hammered down cold single.
Yeah, I can't wait. You know what? I'm going to clip that out. I'm going to post it on Twitter just so when that horse is absolutely airs, like everyone's going to be like, "Look at this motherfucker! What is he talking about?" Let's see. I'm coming back here. Road Warrior Cass's Beach did it again. Last time he won, he beat me out of a giant score by a head. Fucking Cass's Beach. That was that 2 horse. That was the 2 horse that won against the Run Happy, right? Why am I forgetting? Nikki the Best, right? That was the Nikki the Best race. Mark?
Sure. I'm not sure.
Mark, come on. Like we got you here for the memory, man. Like you used to be like this. You used to be quick. What happened?
Old. I got old.
Road Warrior will correct me. Maybe I'm thinking the wrong race.
That's true.
Right. That's true. Ryan saying, Mark, I'd love to show you something I've been working on with speed figures. Yeah, Ryan, I don't know if you're in the Discord, but if you are, there are a lot of data heads in there. Evil Bob Dole, Stephen Fox, I saw him hanging out here. He is correct. Wide receiver won last year for the Heisman, Mark. So, Ben will be saying, no need to bring that up. Yeah. Yeah, I needed Nikki the Vest for like a $20 double that was going to pay like $650 or something like that, something nonsense, but it is what it is. But let's move on here. We got a 7 furlong race 7. I thought I had the wrong distance, but because I saw 7 and 7. This is this is probably one of the Caleb's favorite type of races to handicap. 2-year-old maiden races. This is late season, so you would think that we would have a little bit more form to go off of here, but we got a lot of lightly raced horses in this spot. I kind of landed on 2 horses. I did like the 2 here. Iconic Adventure, the Godolphin Bill Mott horse. The horse ended up finishing second last time out. I actually kind of liked this race. Now, the one thing that gives me a little bit of pause is that this horse kind of had the setup. If this horse is truly a closing type, and I know like the horse only ran once, but this horse had the setup. This horse had a nice fast pace, 22-2, 45-2 at 6.5 furlongs at Belmont. Like, for 2-year-olds, like that's blazing. So you would think that somebody would have won from off the pace, and yeah, he made up some ground. And he finished second. I don't recognize the horse that lost. Looks like there was maybe a little bit of trouble, but still, I don't know. He kind of had the pace set up his way and still finished second. I was a little interested though in the other horse coming out of that race, which was it the what? There was another horse coming out of that race, wasn't there? Oh yeah, the Kendrick horse I was a little bit interested in, but this is probably gonna be more like a BC type here. The horse was a little bit closer up to the pace in that, so I'm a little bit more interested because this horse was close up on the pace, and it kind of fell apart a little bit. Did finish third, held on for third, but was 10 lengths off. So, that could be something, could be not anything. But I looked at the 2 other outside horses. Outside Speed, at least per Brisnet, seems to be pretty good here at Aqueduct. So I was really interested in this 10 Sky and Sand and the 11 Life Isn't Good. Life is great. So I was pretty interested in these 2. Life is Great, a little less interested in because now we're looking at 5th time here, and the horse has kind of just been all over the place. Although it looks like he has figured it out a little bit the last 2 times out. The 10 and the 11 and the 2 are going to be where I'm kind of going to be looking at, looking for that outside speed here from the 10 and the 11. And I think if stuff does get a little stupid, the 2 should be able to pick up the pieces from off the pace. Brian, what you got?
I don't. I was trying to figure out and make an argument for one of the first-time starters. I see how you get to the 2. Given the limited numbers you've got, the 2 makes sense, right? But probably going to be your post-time favorite there. I kind of like the 1A if he gets some help as a first-time starter. Looks like post position 13 is a little scary for me, but that's if the horse gets in, of course. It's an AE, but I do like the Rapoli and Pletcher combination, and it's one of those things where it lists IRAD, and as an AE, you don't know who you're going to get, but it's one of those things. If you're going to just go with gun runners, let's be honest, gun runner's been the topic of the fall, right? So the babies have been performing well. Why not? And it's one of those things where, you had great reasons, Josh, to why you'd like the 2 and why you like the 10, but this feels like one of those races that one of these first-time starters just comes in and blows you up at 12-1, 13-1. And if I was going to play horizontally, I'm probably looking at saying, okay, I'm going to take 4 of the first-time starters with great workouts and good connections and just hope I get lucky there. I don't have anything smart to say. That's just, my approach for this race. This is the kind of race, personally, I'd want to see him in the paddock if I was going to win bet or exacta play it, play back a pick 4 or something, because you just don't know what you're going to get yet, especially in late November for 2-year-olds. It's like, man, you really want to, I want to see him.
Caleb, why am I so disgusted by everything Brian just said?
I don't know. Why are you so disgusted?
He mentioned the first-time starter, gun runner, long price, probably knock you out. Motherfucker.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it was a second-time starter.
Okay. Well, at least okay. It was a second-time starter.
Yeah. I don't have much to add. This is a spread race. I think that, I also like the 2 in the 10 and the 11, what Josh likes. I also like the 3, Matt Doyle, who I would throw in. I mean, I'm not probably the biggest fan of Chad Summers, but this horse actually went off favored last time against a pretty salty field and didn't embarrass himself at all. Ran a nice race. 7 furlongs is tricky. That's probably the one thing that gets me paused about a lot of these horses is how they're going to handle that last furlong. But with such little information to go on, that's a question that pretty much every horse in here has to answer. So yeah, I actually like Life is Great a lot more than maybe a few others. I think that, sprinter route angle is going to give him some extra stamina and help him out on the bottom. And there's some pretty big figure discrepancies, as there usually is when it comes to 2-year-old races. But time form absolutely loved the last race of Life is Great, excuse me. Really, that came back as the fastest last out race of anyone in the field. Bayer and Brisnet do not see it the same way. Time form denotes that they had timing issues that day, so I assume that's an adjusted time. Just something to be aware of. I mean, believe it or not, up to you, but I'm probably going to have a decent bit of money going through Life is Great at 12-1.
Yeah, kind of agree with what everybody had sort of said so far. I think my top pick in here is going to be the Todd Pletcher co-entry of the 1 and the 1A. Don't know where. What?
Boom.
6-1 when you're getting, the morning line is 6-1 on that, on both those horses. I think that's just a terrible morning line. I think they probably both end up taking money. But when I see Todd and you see Sayaz and you see Arad both sticking for those horses when they apparently had other options in here, says that those are probably both pretty live options. And 2 other horses we haven't really talked about that I thought were a little interesting. The 8, Dad's Good Runner, the Nevin entry. Nevin and Kendrick had a win on the day today, and that's a horse that's likely to improve second time out. Nevin's, they're not normally as cranked as some other trainers, and horse has quite a bit of speed, showed it, and it's also, you're seeing a horse that was beaten by 10 3/4, but a lot of times second time stamina holds a lot better, and I think that's a horse that probably runs a lot better second time out than it did first time. And the other one I thought was the first timer that nobody's talked about yet, and that's the 6 Pizarro. You're getting Kelly Breen, and Johnny Velasquez hops up, and that's sort of an odd combo to me. Kelly, he doesn't really. First thing, he doesn't have a huge number of starters in New York. It's not like he has a crazy barn up here, but when he does, he's normally pretty live in New York. And Johnny V's hopping up. I always wonder if this one, he's a 20%. Debut maiden special weight trainer. You're getting 15-1 in the morning line. It's more probably a tournament type pick. It's a horse I would probably use as a B type, but it's one that I wouldn't want to let beat me for a horse that does make some, make some sense in here.
Hey, let me ask you a question, because you guys all, or Caleb and Josh, both like the 10. And this is always an interesting argument. So the horse went first early, 6 furlongs, faded in the stretch last out, now stretches out. Why do you like the 10? We've had this conversation before, but I don't know. It's one of those things where, the horse showed they got tired, so better with experience. Do you see something in the workout pattern? What's triggering you that thinks all of a sudden the horse is, yep, okay, we're good?
I mean, I won't speak for Josh, but for me, like, I feel like that's one of the biggest mistakes newer horse players make is like, this horse got tired going 6. I don't want to bet him at 6.5, or he was coming on really strongly going 7. I can't wait to bet him at 1.125 miles. Like, that's not necessarily how things work, especially with these lightly raced first time starters and second time starters. I think it's just, getting a race under his belt, building up some of that foundation, getting him the experience, and just, overall maybe just found a tougher field that day. I guess maybe an easier field. There's a lot of factors that go into it. I mean, it's a good question, but I'm not convinced that this horse can't get 7 because he tired a little bit at 6.
We hear it all the time, though. People will say exactly what you said. Oh, the horse couldn't make 6. Why 7? And then people will throw it out or eat a B on it.
No, you do hear it all the time. You're right. I just think that it's a good question to ask, but if you're throwing horses out simply based off that, I think you're going to throw out a lot of winners.
Yeah.
I don't. Oh, go ahead, Mark.
I would say I don't dislike your 10. I mean, your 10 does make quite a bit of sense. I would say there's 2 things here that I would say that would make the horse interesting. One is, a lot of maidens, first timers, they often have a lot of stuff that doesn't go right the first time, and that little bit of experience of running the race, they're going to be more settled. They're going to know what's going to happen, and they run better second time out. The other thing is, there's a lot of horses that, especially with a pedigree that's, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the average win, distance is for midshipmen, but looking at the, this distance Tommies, it looks like they want to go a little bit further. A lot of times, if you're running a 6 furlong race, the, speed that those horses are carrying, they just can't sustain it. They slow down a little bit and they maintain that speed. They can grind out and actually get a little more distance. So, probably won't have as much pace in here, and, maybe can settle a little bit. But I would say the one thing that scares me a little with your 10 is that Sayers does get off and go to another horse, which makes you kind of wonder if he has a better option in here.
Hey, I'm just saying, I was on the right side of Jose Lascano once today. Let's make it twice, baby. I don't know. I kind of agree. I mean, I think going from 6 to 7 isn't going to really worry me as much as if he was going from like 6 to a mile or like 1.16 miles. Like, it's not like the horse is all of a sudden routing. The horse is still sprinting, and going around one turn. So I guess it doesn't worry me as much. I know, like you said, the horse faded, but all it takes is getting the right field, and all of a sudden you don't fade. You find a little bit more, or just the other horses don't catch up. So, Ben Wilkie saying, whoever gave this 3 to Chad Summers is my hero.
It's a nice horse.
That's a very nice horse, yeah.
And Stephen Fox says second start is the most important for a horse's career. What's so nice about this horse?
It's a pretty nice pedigree.
Oh, he's fast.
Yeah. Oh, I meant to point something out on one of the other races. Was it this one? Maybe it was the one before. I did laugh a little bit at cost basis. When you look at the stud fee for Into Mischief and look at how much he sold for at the February sale in 2018, somebody lost money there. So $225,000 and sold for $220,000. And it's like, this is like peak Into Mischief time now. So
wasn't Princess Kate a really good horse, or like a really good dam? I know the name from somewhere.
Doesn't ring a bell to me. But
if Caleb doesn't know, then nobody knows.
Horsepower won sprinting in France, and somebody's met him.
Well, then Amazon would know, or Ben Wilkie might know if it was in Japan. But yeah, let's move on. Race 8, 6 furlongs in the outer turf. The best part about Aqueduct is
turf racing.
Turf racing, exactly. Point to Mark. So, Mark, who do you like here on race 8, 6 furlongs on the outer turf?
Oh, man, I'm going to go back to a well that I've the original well-meant horse just happens to so be in this race, and that is the number 6, Call Me Harry.
Son of a...
Oh, no. Are we all on the same horse? I think I've bet this horse about every time he's ever run in his 14 career starts, and I continue to burn money with him. But it seems like his last couple of starts, the last 2 or 3, since Sayers, so the last 2 since Sayers has gotten up on him, have just been better tries. He's it seems like he's kind of finally figuring it out as a 5-year-old, and yeah. Oh no, that funny, Brian? That funny? No, I think Call Me Harry is. Yeah, I really liked the horse for a long period of time. It took him, he seems to have finally gotten it together, and yeah.
You were going to pick this horse no matter where he ended up. Just be honest.
Yeah, I was going to pick this horse no matter where he ended up. It was going to be my horse. Of course, I was. And I would say the other horse that I want in here, and I don't know if you want me to go here because I would imagine a bunch of other people are probably going to be on the 9 Bust and Show, who's a horse that hasn't been on the turf in the last couple, has some dirtied up form, but if you go back to some of those races, I think he has a second across the Aqueduct turf, if I remember right, by a head. And another horse I thought was pretty interesting in here at a bit of a price.
Yeah, I didn't know what to do with that 9. I did have a question mark. I kind of agreed with you, Mark. I thought his turf races were a little bit better than the rest of it, so I thought maybe coming back to turf at a price might be worth a look. I believe Colton's Command the favorite here. No, yeah, because the 4 is an AE, right?
Yep.
Or MTO. Yeah, I kind of like Colton's Command in this spot. I just thought that this horse is going to be sitting in a nice little spot here, get out wide and stay out of trouble. And the horse has shown the ability to close into a slow pace. So I think if he gets a little bit of pace up front, I think he's going to be tough to beat. Mark, I liked your 6 quite a bit. I'm kind of a sucker for form. Pace and form are basically all I look at for the most part. So the horse last 2 races since the July layoff has looked really sharp. So hasn't done anything wrong. So I think, coming here going to be a little forwardly placed, and I think he's in here with a really big shot. And I think those might be the only 2 horses I was really interested in. Like I said, the 9 I kind of have a question mark on, but depending on how I am in the rest of the sequence, the 9 will most likely make my ticket here. But I was most interested in the 10 and the 6 in this spot. Caleb.
Yeah, so I handicapped this pretty quickly, and I still think you guys are pretty wrong. I don't think I was amazed to see Colton's Command listed as the favorite, and I was actually even more amazed to hear you pick the horse, Josh, because isn't he just like a worse version of Cost Basis, a horse that kind of runs nice figs but doesn't really win? And I mean,
he doesn't even really run the nuts of figs.
I mean, he runs okay figs. Yeah, I mean, like I don't know. I didn't like that horse. I don't like the draw. I don't like the run style. There's not that much speed in here. I don't like him at all. He won't be on my ticket, and I don't think he goes off as your favorite, although he might. I don't like Mark's horse either, Call Me Harry, but I won't beat up on him too much. I do like another horse that has beaten Call Me Harry, which was the 7 Scuttlebutt. So he comes out of a common race, I think, with Call Me Harry 2 back, where he ended up beating him in that day. And I think that he's just kind of a horse that is going to appreciate probably turning back a little bit from 7 back to 6. That was a slow pace. He's another one that really kind of got compromised in that race. So, there's like a length that separated 2nd from 4th in that field. So I'm not really going to split hairs there. I think that, given he was trying to close from dead last into a slow pace, I can kind of forgive him for that. But none of the short prices really do much for me here. I mean, I think that a horse I do like the 9, who y'all talked about a little bit. And I really like actually the 8 quite a bit.
No!
Dylan Davis, Brian's pick. Brian's thought you got to stop going last.
Damn it.
Yeah, Dylan has been riding really good.
Now you're going to get this because that's it.
He's been riding so well. And this horse, speaking of form, I mean, ever since the barn change, he's been pretty much a different horse, especially on the turf. He does move up in class here, but I don't think it's as big of a jump as some people would think, since half these horses are moving up from New York bred races anyway. So I think he makes a lot of sense. He's going to be forwardly placed in a race, or not forwardly placed, but mid-pack in a race that doesn't have a ton of speed in here. So I like Ring of Fire in here. I don't really want any of the short prices.
I'm just more amazed that this horse moved forward, leaving the Cipriano Contreras barn. So
I know. Hard to believe this Rob Altris guy.
no, Brian, wait, are you gonna wax poetic about this 8?
What am I going to say? Shit. I was going to try and copy Caleb and forgot what he said. Yes, the 8. Yes. Since going to the grass has actually turned the corner, and it's more or less, I don't love the 8 as much as I hate the rest of the horses here. And Caleb was nice, and he didn't beat on Mark's 6, so I'm going to beat on the 6. So Caleb, make sure you can use it.
Could you put Harry right in the winner's circle?
I want you to look at September and October of 2020. New tops, according to Briss. What month are we in? We're in November. So the horse runs good in September and October, and then in November he's like, man, it's time for the shed. Never mind, leave me alone. So you go ahead and put your money on that horse at 2-1. Eat a B with like the 9 or somebody. What up, Cooter? 6 and 9 on Mark's ticket, but it's one of those things where I do like the 7 a bit. Rudy's off to a slow start, but Manny Franco, you either love him or hate him, right? I think you guys hate him, but it's one of those things where you looked 1 through 5, and I had a hard time. Like I kept scrolling through the PP. I'm like, okay, what am I going to find? I'm like, okay, 7-2 on the 2. No thanks. You can have that. And you just keep going. It's like, holy crap, this race is a deep field, but it's fall ducked, and you're like, okay, where's the standout? Where's the 10-1 horse that's going to surprise me? I think it is the 8. And I almost kind of like the 9 a little bit, but Mark talked him on that one already. I thought it was odd. I haven't been paying that close attention, obviously, because of everything going on at work and at home. But when did Trevor come back to New York?
Like this week.
This week,
So,
yeah.
so he's back for the holidays, and he's going to pick up some mounts, and then, okay, that makes sense. But, it was one of those things. So, yeah, if I'm playing a few horizontals here, I'm probably looking at tossing out the 10 for reasons that the skinny pretty one said. And I'm going to go with like the 8, the 9, and then maybe I try and find a horse that might, surprise. So maybe something crazy, something like, I don't know. I'll just shut up now. I really need to do my homework before this. I say that because I really did homework. Josh, don't shake your head. No.
I thought you took a test.
I was doing a test. Yes.
Brian.
That's why it's funny.
Ben Wilkie saying that he's supposed to get some rain tonight, just to know. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Hopefully they're still on. And yeah, Ryan says Trevor wasn't getting mounts out west. Yeah, I don't really think he does. I think Trevor unfortunately ran into real bad timing in that Joe Bravo also went out west. And I think if you're going to give a new guy in the colony a shot, they'll probably go with Jersey Joe over Trevor. But I don't know, I could be wrong. I literally have no idea how jockeys even get mounts. So take everything I say with a grain of salt when it comes to that. But finally, we get to race 9, the Caleb Special, the Red Smith, going a mile and 3/8 on the turf. Although it's Aqueduct, so maybe this is it. Maybe this is your time to shine, Caleb.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it. Like you know who's going to happen. I mean, there's absolutely no way Channel Cat makes any of your tickets, right?
No. He might.
Yes, he will.
He might just for Brian, because I know Brian's a big Channel Cat fan. Yeah, this race it stinks. Well, it doesn't stink. It's a good betting race. I was surprised, but I guess I shouldn't have been. But I was surprised to see the favorite as Serve the King here. I don't like this horse. I know everyone's going to have this horse because he has fast numbers, but this is like the most textbook definition of a fake Chad. He's got 4 wins, and they came in a restricted race at Saratoga, and then like Monmouth, Tampa, and Tampa. Like anytime he steps up to face anything of somewhat quality, he ends up getting beat. You could make an argument that he's maybe just better since they started putting him in these marathon distances. I consider that. I didn't accept it, but you could make that argument. So I'm not going to use him, even though, on figs and connections and everything else, he does make sense. This is a horse that often takes a ton of money and runs a good fig, but somehow finds himself third, like Sacred Life or whoever else those other fig chads are. With that being said, I think that the 3-horse Soldier Rising is probably the horse to beat. He is like pretty much a one-run closer, so he's going to need some help, which he might get from both Channel Cat and Tide of the Sea. It kind of feels like they should probably duel, which should make the pace at the very least honest, even if it's not totally blistering. If he gets a decent pace, I think he'll be tough to beat. His figs haven't come back, out of this world, but I just wonder if maybe those figs are a little on the soft side or what, because the form has certainly come back strong. State of Rest returned to win. That was another Joseph O'Brien shipper in the Saratoga Derby. And I didn't really think a lot of the New York Turf Series was good this summer, but it turned out to be pretty solid. Obviously, Yabir came back to win the Breeders' Cup Turf. Soldier Rising was a pretty good second in that race. And then he kind of had no chance last time out when he was dead last, 12 lengths off the pace on a very slow pace where the top 3 finishers were 1, 2, 3 the entire time. So I like Soldier Rising in here. I'm not going to use Serve the King, and I'm going to probably use and then make myself perch in the bathroom Channel Cat.
Didn't State of Rest come back to win like the Cox Plate or something? He came back to win that huge Australian race, right? Not the Everest, but the other one. I think the Cox Plate. Yeah,
he did. He won the Cox Plate.
Yeah,
that's a very nice race in Australia, to be sure.
Yeah, so I was very interested in. I was pretty interested in Soldier Rising, but not for all the reasons you said. And Brian knows exactly what I'm looking at. Let's zoom in here. I don't know if you guys see that, but I've been accused sometimes only looking at this number. Although I actually never look at it anymore. But I don't know. Like sometimes I'll scroll down to the bottom and I'll see the horse that I didn't expect is like number 1 in prime power, and that's what happened here. The Soldier Rising was, but then I was like, oh, State of Rest won that Cox Plate, so I'm sure that they gave him some huge class rating or something from it. But I was really interested in Caleb's least favorite horse in this spot in Channel Cat. I thought Channel Cat. I don't think there's going to be a ton of pace in this race, and Channel Cat seems to do his best work when he gets kind of that easy first quarter and is kind of up front. Has gotten a little bit quicker paces, I think, than he was wanted the past couple times out, and you can see by the results that he's kind of faded. But here, his only real pace pressure is going to be one of the other horses I like, and that's going to be the one Tide of the Sea. I think I'm at the point where I'm just going to continue betting this horse until I'm on the right side of him. So Tide of the Sea is going to be on my ticket. Really, this is more of a value play. Tide of the Sea is 15-1 on the morning line. So if I'm getting 12-1 or better on Tide of the Sea, I think that this is definitely a horse that I'm going to want to use in some way, shape, or form. Luis Saez on a speed horse in a turf route in New York. I mean, we've seen this over and over and over again. So I'll take my chances here with Tide of the Sea as a pace play. I think of the other horses in this race, the horse I like the most is going to be Shamrocket. I thought that the point of entry last time out was a nice little race. Did beat a couple of nice horses, including Bluegrass Parkway, who I think is a nice little turf router. Is going to be cutting back just a little bit, going from 1.5 miles to 1 3/8. Ran the Bowling Green, ran a nice race. Lost to 2 horses that would probably be short prices in here. And cross border maybe not anymore. But Rock Emperor, if Rock Emperor was running in this spot, would be a really short price coming off his impressive win last time out. So I'm kind of interested in Shamrocket. And I'm not going to say the C word, but I'm going to say that the company that he has kept is pretty good. So I think
I don't understand.
that he's a little interested in this, a little interesting in this spot, especially at 6-1. I think this is going to be a spot where I'm going to try and fade this Chad Serve the King. I mean, he makes sense. Ran a really, really great race last time out at a nice price, and now you're going to get 3-1 on this horse every time he runs because of that. So I just think from a value perspective, I don't think Serve the King is worth a play at the price he's going to be. So I'm going to go 1-5 as A's, and I'll probably end up using Channel Cat as an A as well. Channel Cat, I think, is I don't know. I was going to say Channel Cat probably makes the most sense in the spot, but I don't know. I think Shamrocket's going to be my top pick here in the spot. Mark, what are you thinking?
I'll keep it real short and quick. Serve the King and Channel Cat. Need those two. Only two horses I need in the race. They're the two fastest horses on paper, and I'm just not going to overthink this.
But overthinking is what we do. That's literally all we do.
You guys talked about half the horses in the race. I just need two. That's it. Two.
All right, Brian. Who you got?
I want to take this quick moment to talk about my favorite book here behind me. Class Matters is a beautiful book. It talks about the horses and life of New York. Sorry, Josh, I couldn't resist. You said the C word that didn't matter, and then I found a book about class. What are the chances? I think you guys touched on it all. It's funny to me that Channel Cat might be low in speed here, but when you look at Briss, I don't trust that horse is the only like E8 or whatever, E7, whatever it may be. Tide of the Sea looks to have that early pace number a little bit higher. So I think Caleb was right. I think the early pace might be a little bit quicker than normal, or maybe not as easy as at first glance appears. But I'm going to go with a mix of probably Caleb and Mark here with the 3 and the 4. I think those are probably the two best horses. And unfortunately, I'm gonna not take Channel Cat here since Caleb's going to use it this time. So it's one of those horses I can't back, because when Caleb's on Channel Cat, the Channel horses don't run well. So I'm going to back off a Channel Cat today.
Oh, Brian, you're killing me.
well, listen. If the one pushes the pace here, it doesn't set up for Channel Cat, right? Channel Cat can't. But this is the sweet spot for Channel Cat. A mile and 3/8 is where Channel Cat wants. A mile and a half was a bit too far. 2 back, a mile and 3/8 was good. They're going to get a little bit of rain tonight. Last out or 2 back, it was a good turf at Saratoga. So can you make the argument this is the perfect spot for Channel Cat? You can. But then you've got the maker on the rail that is going to show some speed. So it's New York, though. They're probably going to run a 40 or 54-second half because it's New York.
Yeah. No, Channel Cat's like my 4th pick in this race. He's not like I mentioned him because we have history. But
I never do.
He's not like I do like Soldier Rising, but I actually can't believe we didn't talk about these other two horses, although we've touched on most of the field. Sanctuary City and Price Talk both will be on my tickets very prominently. Sanctuary City got beat, Whisker by Some Like It Hot Brown last time at 25-1, and ran a figure that's pretty much every bit as quick as anything that Channel Cat or that fake Chad Brown horse has run, at least on time form anyway. That was a huge pace adjusted fig, but it does seem to make sense. And then the 10 Price Talk is also, right in their conversation when it comes to speed figs. And I feel like they're both way less exposed than, a horse like Channel Cat or the fake Chad.
You see, Ben's comment was so much disrespect to the greatest trainer of all time, Tony Dutro.
Who's the trainer of the 10?
The 10 Price Talk.
That horse ran a huge number first off the claim last out. I don't know why Klarovich is giving this horse away, but I think this horse could be live for sure. And Tony's having a great year. He's winning like 30%, 26%. Yeah.
So I see, I'm looking back at chat. There's a little bit of, I don't know what Ben Wilkie was talking about. I missed this. He said something about something being controversial. So, Mark, how much could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? I have no idea why Stephen Fox is bringing that up. Oh goodness, Ryan, Josh picking a closer. My goodness, these are odd times. So there's a group chat I'm in with a couple of horse players. Caesar's in there, and Caesar was here at the beginning of at the beginning of the stream, but there was a race where I was like dead single, and it was a closer, and everyone in the chat was just like, guys, just like put all your money on it, just put all of it on there. Like the fact that he likes this closer, like just put it all, just go shove it in. I at the time I can't remember because I remember there was the reason why it's so funny is I remember there was a race at, I think it might have been Gulfstream. There was like this cheapish speed turf horse that ended up wiring, and I was all over it, and like nobody wanted any part of it. And after that, everyone's like, oh, maybe he does know like when cheap speed might actually be good. But there's Caesar.
Yeah, you should go highlight Stephen Fox's last comment.
Oh yeah, I wanted to get to this one. Caleb, you and Channel Cat have enough history for your girlfriend to get jealous.
He's up there. I truly don't know who would be number one in my heart, but he's in the
Zulu Alpha. It's Zulu Alpha. We know.
100% it's Channel Maker, and the reason why it's Channel Maker
might be Channel Maker.
The reason why it's Channel Maker is because Caleb chased after that -1 or -2 Thorograph for like 2 years, and finally gave up on it. And then all of a sudden, he just started winning these races because they kept on coming up soft, both in field and in ground. And he just kept on wiring these races and just breaking his heart every time. But Zulu Alpha was his first heartbreak for sure. Caleb and Zom. Oh man. Oh, Ben Wilkie's talking about the Cox plate. That was controversial. Yeah, there was a steward's inquiry there. All right. Last race, at least here until we move on to our Del Mar. I'm gonna be like Mark, and I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm taking the 1, and that's it. Mark.
I'm going to be like Josh and keep it simple and just take the 1. I mean, I would probably use a couple other horses in here because it's great. Because this race is sort of terrible. But
so you're nothing like Josh.
Yes, I'm nothing like Josh. I've been told thin is in, and I'm just not thin. No, I mean I think Catching Cupid makes a lot of sense. That's the figure in here. The you're probably your fastest horse in the race. I have no idea what other horses I end up using in here. This race is really rough because no one's shown a figure here. It's one of those races that you want to like hit up Josh's trip handicapping database or take a look at a little deeper dive into works. I need this kind of race is going to take me some time go through and really figure out, okay, who do I need to include in here? But because of the amount of time I'm going to put into it, probably Catching Cupid just wires the field.
Caleb?
We're not in like the throes of Winter Duct yet, where you have a frozen rail and it gets dark at 3 p.m. and you have like 4 horses in every race. So I'm not really keen to bet, Jorge Vargas at 8-5 on a second-time starter in a field full of unknowns, on a horse that doesn't really have any speed. The horse that ran a nice race last time out. He ran that nice race at 18-1. If you miss the funeral, you don't miss the wedding, don't go to the funeral. Charlie Baker does excellent second time out. There's a lot of reasons to use that horse. For me, the value he offers compared to the risk that comes along with it just isn't there. So I'm using the 2, the 6, and the 8. The 2 hasn't really run that fast, but when Irad gets up for Juan Vasquez, good things tend to happen. They're 50% the last 2 months and 5 of 6 in the money. The 6 horse, that's going to be a complete toss or a complete dart toss, but I'm throwing him in. If there's one thing Jalen Samuel can do, it's generally put a horse in the lead. If you look at some of the works this horse has, they're pretty quick. 47-4 over the Belmont training track, 59-4. This horse has some gas, even if he's been asked. He clearly has some early foot, and apparently, according to Briz, these connections have hooked up once for just a silly priced winner. So I'm not going to let that horse beat me, considering there's no one in this field that really scares me. And the other horse I use, just a horse that's your probable leader based off of form anyway, who is the 8, Hot Rod Rumble. Probably the last horse that I would use of my 3, actually. I'm not that impressed with him, but in the event the track's coming up pretty speedy, he has been improving and should be your leader or just about right on top of it, if not right off the pace here.
Yeah, I forgot that this is a 2 cherry horse, the stem and the pit for the 3rd cherry. So you almost got the full complete 3rd cherry there.
Wait, if that's a
for
2 cherry
Highlight
horse,
Rumble.
if that's a 2.5 cherry horse, the 10's got to be a 3 cherry horse, right?
No, it's an E4.
Really, they have that horse that much slower than the okay.
Doesn't the blinkers add a cherry?
Yeah,
Dude, I don't even like believe in blinkers. So now, if they're like the fucking wool things that they wear in Hong Kong all the time, like I'm all about those things because they look cool as shit. But
don't they make a lot of drag? Like, isn't there like
I have no idea, dude. But it looks like the horses are gonna try and get in there and like start fucking wailing around. You know, it's gonna mix it up a little bit. You know, I do before Brian waxes poetic and just like tells us how we're all wrong. It picks up 15-1. That's gonna sky and just like, you know, just wire this field. I will say one thing about Jalen Samuel. I know, you know, we talk about how he gets out on the lead. Unlike a jock like Saez or Karamouche, the one thing I think Samuel is kind of missing right now, and this is coming from somebody who has watched every single one of his fucking races this year. so trust me, he is not great at getting the horse out of the gate clean. I don't know what it is. I don't know if he's just like not strong enough or he's still learning. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like when he gets his horses out in the gate, they're kind of erratic. And it's real. He's real prone into running into other horses. Like, I don't know if it just happens to be that he just gets those horses because he's getting like the bad stock, or if it's him and his gate, like his work out the gate. But just something to keep in mind, something that I've noticed with Jalen Samuel horses. And like I said, it could be the horse. It could just be that, hey, he's literally the last call for, you know, a couple of trainers and he just gets them and they're like, hey, just, you know, don't fall off or whatever. But just something to keep in mind, something to kind of keep your eye on. And like I said, I've watched a ton of NYRA races over the past couple months. So just something to keep an eye on with Jalen Samuel. But like Caleb's right. If he gets the horse out clean and he gets on the lead, like he rides him well. He rides like Karamouche. He's nice and quiet. He's got soft hands, and he just lets the horse do what it needs to do and asks at the right time. The problem is that I just never feel like he just doesn't always get that clean break. So just something to keep in mind. Brian, what you got?
You want to know why you're all wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Eric Cancel.
That's never the answer. That's never the right answer.
The damage.
Oh, and Aqueduct is the answer.
No. Thank you, Josh. Mark, you were wrong. Make this horse a B, Mark, so the rest of us can win. Listen, the dam is 3 for 3, very small sample size. But as this 2-year-old class is starting, I mean, 3 winners, 3 starts, or 3 starts, 3 winners. And then you throw Cancel on there. He's the kind of jockey that's going to come up.
You realize the dam's the mom, right?
I do.
Okay, cool. Just checking.
What's your point?
You said your starts the 3 for 3. You're implying that the sire was 3 for 3, not the dam.
I thought I said the dam starts were 3 for 3.
You said the dam was 3 for 3, and then you said
the dam starters, right?
Yeah. The dam has produced 3 winners from 3 starters.
Thank you.
Got it. Excellent.
English is not my first language. English is not my first language. Like dating is not yours. English is not mine. Okay, so you just love your bottle and shut up and let the fat guy talk. Cheers. Anyway, it's the typical horse that's going to produce a pick 6 carryover, or a pick 5 that's going to buy Mark a Miata with a single seat, because it's not going to pay that much. But it's why not? Why can't this horse come through? Cancel doesn't have a lot of mounts on the card that look lively. So at this point, Javier's checked out. I read on a Saturday evening. Come on, it's getting dark. He doesn't care. But with that being said, my top pick for the race is the 3. Sorry, Road Warrior. The 4 is nice, but there's something about the 3. I really like the 3rd-time starter here. The 80 in debut, and then if you go back and watch the replay, which hopefully somebody will. Last out, the horse had a lot more trouble than brushing the gate. The horse was never actually engaged, despite what the calls are showing you. So it's one of those things where Ramos is off, Hernandez is on. I really like Hernandez to break his 0 for 13 streak. Maybe he'll be 1 for 15 by the time this race happens. But it's one of those races where in debut the horse looked better. And in the second time out, you usually see that step forward, right? I think it was Road Warrior. One of the guys in chat said second time out is the most important start. And this horse had trouble. So we can excuse that. And in a race that looks crazy, let's go for 2 horses that will probably be double digits and go from there.
Road Warrior said, my dad's been betting this horse. It's my initials. Of course, he'll be the bastard that beats me.
I've been betting on the races for a number of years now, and I don't know if I've ever seen an Englehart horse win a race. Like, I know that it happens. Like, I see the numbers.
You don't watch a lot of Finger Lakes, do you?
I mean, like, I don't know where the fuck this guy wins at 21%, because I could have swore I didn't see him win a race all year at Belmont, Saratoga, or the Duct. And I see he even has a win at the Duct.
How do
Doesn't he
I don't know what
play?
happened.
Doesn't
You
he
watch
ride
Belterra?
your favorite track?
I was going to say, isn't he all over Parks?
Yeah.
Parks, Belterra.
Or is that
Parks.
Jeremiah? Is that the other Englehart?
I don't know. They're all the same to me. It's just like the Declans and the Carols and Cannons and,
So does that mean you're Caleb from TVG?
Basically.
Basically, yeah.
Wow, you're so much taller than I thought.
Oh man, I don't know. I think it's an interesting sequence. I think Caleb, you did talk me a little bit, like I said, into this 8, so I'll probably end up using this 8 a little bit just because of the speed factor. But
2.5 cherries.
Yeah, 2.5 cherries. But yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting sequence. It seems like there's a couple of common horses that we have here, but good discussion on some of this other stuff. But we got one more race I want to talk about. We got a couple minutes here. We're looking at going back to Del Mar. Oh, Cindy jumped in. She says that she likes the first time starter here, the 6. 6 is always charming. Let's take a look here. Oh, yeah, that was that who was on this horse? Was it you,
me.
Caleb? Yeah. So kind of looking at the works there. And it looks like this is the first. This is the first first full out of this dam. Central Bankers 11%.
He's been lighting it up in the Naira scene though. Central Bankers done very well.
Yeah, Central Banker is kind of like Central Banker and
Bustin'
Big Brown,
Stones.
right?
And Bustin' Stones as well.
Bustin' Stones.
Shorter distances is more Bustin' Stones, Central Banker. Big Brown gets a little more distance.
Yeah. But yeah, that'll kind of do it for the that pick 5 sequence there. But let's take a look real quick here at this this native diver at Del Mar, 1.125 on the dirt. You get the return of such greats like Mid-Court and 8 rings after just getting beat down in that dirt mile. But in fairness to 8 rings, everyone got beat down in a dirt mile. So
Yeah, I mean, Life is Good was transcendent in that race.
yeah,
He was a height.
he was a height.
Height.
But I didn't really take like I took a look at this race and I was just kind of like all over the place. Now I know StableDuel is having a huge contest this weekend. $150, $10,000 guaranteed. Caleb is just upset because he knows that Saturday morning he's gonna have to wake up and make sure he gets his stable set up. But they got a huge contest this weekend. This is the feature race. There'll be there's other plays that, and maybe I'll talk with the guys. Maybe we'll get a couple other horses that we like and some short videos up here. But I figure we take a look at this one from a StableDuel perspective. From a StableDuel perspective, I actually kind of like Bell Harbor in this spot. Bell Harbor, if you kind of go back, I know we're going back a year. We're going back to the end of last year. But Bell Harbor was a pretty nice horse last year, 5-year-old. The speed figs in that spot seem to match up pretty well here. And and there's not a whole lot here that I'm like really scared of. Each of these horses just has an absolute clunker somewhere in there. And Bell Harbor seems to be kind of like a nice, consistent horse. I feel like you're not going to lose a ton of points. I feel like Bell Harbor is going to clunk up for no worse than fourth. Maybe finish second or third in this race. And you're getting 8-1. So Caleb, StableDuel dollars. What are we looking at?
$3,000.
$3,000. All right, it's a steal. I mean, 8 rings at 7-2 as the kind of the morning line favorite might be the play here as well, but I don't know. I'm kind of trying to be value oriented and try and, like I said, stick around that 8 or 10-1 for most of my horses, and find a couple of chalk horses I think are just kind of deadlocks that are going to get me those was it 60 points, and I just don't think I 8 rings could finish second or third, and I'm going to be paying up for it. So I think Bell Harbor is going to be a little bit more of a value, and I don't really see Bell Harbor getting you negative points. So I'm going to kind of go there with Bell Harbor. Caleb, what you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think 7-2 is actually a really fair price on 8 rings. I think live post-time odds, he's going to be well less than half of that. I could see him going off in the neighborhood of 9-5. I mean, if the Baffert money shows up, he could be something stupid like 7-5 or 3-2. He might go off like 2-1, 5-2, but either way, he's not going to be 7-2. I think, and he shouldn't be. I don't think he is much the fastest horse in this race based off of his last couple of efforts. He was beaten 5 lengths by. Life is good, but really Life is Good would beat this field by 15 lengths. So I don't really think that's a bad race at all. The distance is a bit of a concern, but kind of like you mentioned, that race 2 back, he drew away from that field going a mile and a 16th, a mile and an 8th, given his pedigree and how he handled a mile and a 16th. Even as a 2-year-old, he got the distance. So I'm not too worried about the last 16th of a mile here. I think 8 rings is the play. I think anybody else is, 8 rings may not win, but I think it's hard to make a strong case for any other horse to win. And a lot of these horses that, could win also have a strong chance to run like really bad. I mean, look at like Kiss Today Goodbye. I mean, he'd beaten 14 lengths, 6 lengths, and 12 lengths in his last 3 starts. I mean, Axeman just got beat 11 lengths in a 4-horse field. I mean, there's a lot of horses in here that, like on their day can win. Azul Cool beaten 17 lengths. But on their not day, they're going to cost you points. So I think 8 rings is the safe play and the most likely winner. I don't hate your pick of Bell Harbor. I don't think the horse can win. But if you want a horse that's, somewhat likely to run 4th, I guess, I don't hate him, but I'm going to use 8 rings.
Man, you're a huge Bell Harbor fan, so that just like drives a stake in my heart.
I mean, I just don't know. He's never been able to really do it outside of, Maryland. If you look back at his record, Monmouth, Laurel, in Delaware, I guess that circuit, when he's tried to ship elsewhere, it typically hasn't worked very well.
Mark, what you got?
I'm going to watch Caleb's eyes roll when I say this, but I landed on Midcourt in 2. He was second in this race last year, won it 2 years ago. Horse that has never missed a trifecta at this track, and popping the there we go, and he really fits on figures. He's the kind of horse that I can just kind of close my eyes and ignore the last, and I think he's a horse that's very likely to hit the board. Is he your likeliest winner? I don't know. I think this race is pretty flat. I had a really hard time figuring out my top choice in here. I dislike basically every horse in the race, but I think from a StableDuel perspective, somebody like Midcourt is, I don't know what 4-1 is. What is that? $12,000 something range. And
did you say 12,000?
Well, what is it?
I think it's 7,000.
7,000, whatever. Sorry, I don't have the number. I don't have them all memorized. It's the kind of horse that I'm willing to spend up for, a horse that I think is very likely to hit the board, and I'll take my shots in other races.
You're going to spend up on a horse that was beaten 62 lengths in StableDuel? I get it. From a win perspective, sure, throw $10 on him. But from StableDuel, I don't want anything to do with Midcourt. Pick 5s. It doesn't cost you if he runs a stinker. but
Only
from
62
StableDuel,
lengths. He was
that's a
right
risk.
there.
But like I kind of get Mark's approach, because if you talk, I know it's the most recent race, so it's hard to just toss it. But midcourt's at least been kind of pretty consistent, like speed figure wise. Like, he's been sitting there finishing second and third in these grade 1s, grade 2s, grade 3s. Like, but yeah, that last race, I mean, just like taking a short price on it, I would look elsewhere.
But look who midcourt got beat by. Was it the class that doesn't matter, or the lack of Lasix? Which one do you want to go with there? I'd say the class more than the Lasix, but you don't know. The question mark is there. 4-1 is a sharp price to take in StableDuel with those two questions you can't answer.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the
He was never involved in the race.
Flattered, you're third, but like he's never raced against more than 6 horses in 2 years. So third is that's middle of the pack. He's beat half the field, so I wouldn't be too thrilled by that.
He was never involved in the last race. I mean, something was off right from the gate pop. I don't know what it was, but I tend to be somebody who would give a horse like that, who's been pretty consistent and tosses a clunker. I mean, he had a bad day. I'll give him an excuse. And it's my same logic I used for United earlier in the season. United had one terrible race and he bounced right back and won his next. I know Caleb and I had a back and forth on that one. It's a similar sort of deal. I'll excuse one bad race that comes out as seemingly nowhere.
Brian,
it was really bad. I get it.
He said Brian, not Mark. I overthought the Breeders' Cup last year. I overthought the Breeders' Cup this year. This is Del Mar. There's 2 Baffords. It's authentic.
There's 3 Baffords.
The third one doesn't count. That's barely a Bafford. Hold on. And if we want to put it out there, okay, you got Axeman, you got 8 Rings, you got Azul Coast. You can have Azul Coast. I mean, I'll give you Azul Coast. 4-1, that's got to be just because it's a Bafford. I don't understand. I tried to make logic with it. I'm like, okay, Bafford has the entries. You've got Juan, Pratt, and Smith. And it sure feels like Pratt's on the worst horse. I'm sorry. And it's weird because normally you think Pratt's going to get the better mount here. But it's one of those races where, according to the Briz, there's a lot of speed here. Yeah, Bafford has 2 E8 horses, right? Or EP8s, whatever you want to call them. And it's one of those races, it's like, are they going to go 1-2 all the way around the track? Mike Smith is not going to press 8 Rings. 8 Rings is going to have choice of whatever they want to do. The logic of this race tells me I want to play Kiss Today Goodbye, because that's the kind of horse that would sit off the pace. But the way Del Mar and the way California's ran, I can't sit here logically and say I want to horse it off the pace. So some combination of Axeman and 8 Rings probably gets this home from either an exacta standpoint, a StableDuel standpoint, and if you're going to play a horizontal here, I think those 2 horses are probably both solid choices. I mean, I would love to sit here and say, for like if I was playing a mythical contest, I'm taking Established on the rail, or maybe the rail. That horse has something to prove. Victor Espinosa has been a really hot jockey. Richard Baltus has not, normally wins like 15%, is currently at 6%. Needs to probably win quickly to get back to average. But for one of those StableDuel plays, 6-1 for Established feels a little too sharp. But if you're doing a $2 mythical, Established is a perfect contest play. But with that said, I'll take the 2 Baffords and shut up.
The lines here are all screwed up. This race is not as flat as the morning lines have it, I don't think. I think you'll get, 15-1 on some of these horses, maybe even 20-1. And you're going to get, probably 2-1 on 8 Rings and, probably get some money on some others. So, yeah, I don't know.
What do you think if 8 Ring scratches out of this? Because I'm a little surprised that they're trying to run 8 Rings back so fast because, he just ran the BC Dirt Mile. So I mean, maybe Bradford just thinks that he's good right now, so he's gonna try and run him again. But if for some reason 8 Ring scratches out of this race because he just seems kind of like, hey, let's maybe come back a little quick, I mean, are you a little bit more interested in the one there in that spot? I mean, the one kind of just inherits the lead then, right? Or do you think Axeman just goes full sensu?
I still think Axeman inherits the lead at that point. I think Axeman and 8 Rings are the 2 speed horses you want there. But, you have a valid point. If the rail's playing good that day, if 8 Rings scratches out, then Established at 6-1 might be a great price.
Yeah, I would be more interested in Axeman, like Brian said. And it really, if you look at his races, he's better going longer, even though he spent a lot of his career going shorter. Now, a mile and an eighth might be too far, but a mile and a 16th is where he's had most of his success, at least recently. I mean, the 6 and 5.5s and 7s have not really been where he's done his damage lately.
Yeah, Ryan pointing out JJ's been riding some of Bafford's better horses lately. So, and Caesar saying Baltus is going to gun for the lead. Caesar's he's the West Coast guy, so he thinks that the one's gonna go. I don't know. I actually thought this was a really interesting race. Caleb seems to think that 8 Rings can't lose, so he's big Bill Belichick fan. Yeah, what were you gonna say, Brian? Sorry, you were gonna say something.
I didn't realize Axeman was off the board to maximum security and midcourt. So who liked midcourt last race?
Mark.
Okay. Sorry, Mark. I'm not sure if I should move Axeman up or down off of that. 14 months later.
Well, what if we look at this 8? Kiss today goodbye. Pay the rent with Kent. I just wanted to use the.
It's the middle of the month, though. Rent's not due. Kent's not really. Kent's there for 19 because it's the middle of the month. I mean, you gotta catch him 2 weeks from now.
He's got 4 show checks. Like, yeah, what's up? I pulled the horse at the end. 5 horse races. He got show. Be proud.
Yeah, he's like, hey, that rent moratorium isn't over yet. So,
He's also riding for what, like a 7% trainer right there. That's just a bad combination, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to use the pay the rent with Kent thing. So
sorry,
there was no thought in that. But yeah, no, it was fun, guys. We got through that pick 5 sequence. We talked a little bit about that Del Mar. We'll probably have a couple more Del Mar thoughts trickling out via video. Especially because it's, like I said, $150 contest, $10,000 guaranteed. Caleb is just like drooling right now thinking about it because I know he loves Del Mar. Yeah, he's already putting his entry in now. But I'm
just glad Caleb wore his church shirt Thursday night.
I had a presentation today and I didn't feel like changing afterward. I got shorts on and slippers.
Oh, work from home. Embrace it.
I know, man. That's how I feel some morning. You know what's funny is so I started my job in this new job in April, and in April, May, June, everyone had their camera on. Everyone was like ready to go, whatever. And then like July, August, September, all of a sudden, dude, now it's just like no one's got their camera on. Like everyone's just done. Everyone's just sick of being on camera all day. So it's kind of nice because I just like roll out of bed, dude. My hair is all messed up. I'm wearing my PJs and just taking calls. So, but yeah, thank you guys for sticking around with us. I know everyone was a little more engaged with the Aqueduct content, but we like playing StableDuel. Caleb pretty basically got his new roof paid off with StableDuel checks. So along with some wine, and was that the only bonus one you won? Was when they sent you the wine?
I think it was just the wine. Yeah.
I know they've done all kinds of weird stuff like the Zed Run horse and all that other stuff, but I might jump in that Del Mar contest because I've just been running hot. So I feel like I got to stay hot.
You need 2 entries. We need you to get your wife an entry and let her pick some names. And, then you can pay for a nice free Vegas trip.
Yeah, I know. Did I tell you guys? So I love my wife. Like she's super supportive of like everything I do. And she's just great. And
She brings you cheese.
yeah, the other day
Charcuterie?
she's like, hey, when are you gonna find out if you qualify for that thing in Vegas? And I'm like, dude, like I've played like 3 qualifiers. Like I don't know where you think, like, because I think I ended up getting a that free contest. I ended up in the top 10%, so I got like the next day to the NHC contest. So like she's like fully expecting me to qualify for NHC at this point, and I'm just like, it's like I guess I should try. Like I haven't really been trying the past couple months, but Caesar's saying he's still waiting on Mark's comeback to Brian. But yeah, thank you guys, like I said, for hanging out. We're on the wrong lead. You can catch us at wrong_lead on thewronglead.com. You can buy a fancy little t-shirt like the one I'm wearing. Mark is not wearing his t-shirt today for some reason.
Sorry.
But yeah, and then check out StableDuel, check out manscaped.com. We still got the promo code wrong_lead 20% off your order and free shipping. Keep your junk clean. And I think Brian walked away to write some new material to rip Mark here after we get offline.
I don't have to write it. It just comes natural.
Oh, Ryan's actually asking if I'm going to Hawthorne. So, Brian, what's the plan for Hawthorne? I know I was talking with our buddy John Lloyd a little bit about the Hawthorne contest, but it's not at Hawthorne this year, right? It's at the OTBs?
Correct. Because of construction, they cannot have it at Hawthorne. They cannot fit the 400 people there as normal. So you have to book your reservation at the OTB of your choice. The email or the flyer that came out was Oakbrook is about packed. Pretty sure we'll be at Prospect Heights at least 1 or 2 days. And, we'll go from there.
Yeah, I think Prospect Heights might be the spot we go to. I was talking with John. He's saying Saturday now. I was going to try and go Friday, but he's saying Saturday now. So I don't know, Brian, what your plan was. But
I have reservations for Oakbrook on Friday. I know the reigning NHC champion will probably be out at one of those locations. There's a lot of Chicago guys that are going to be out playing, and it's going to be a fun contest. It always draws big numbers. There's no limit on what you play. But now Ryan says Papa is going to play, so I'm out. I'm just going to. Yeah.
I'll have to talk. We'll see where Papa's going then.
If he's flying, if you're flying in, you're probably playing somewhere like Crestwood, or if you're flying into O'Hare, you're probably going to Prospect Heights.
What? So, I have to feign ignorance because all the OTBs I used to go to are Arlington. So I've never been to a Hawthorne OTB. So what's the Hawthorne OTB to go to?
It depends what you're going for, right? So normally I go to the Crestwood one because it's closer to me in Indiana. It's a nice layout. It's not bad. There's one in Corliss. I avoid that one. It's probably not to knock Hawthorne, it's probably the one in need of renovation the most. But the sportsbook there is great. So, but Prospect Heights, Oakbrook, they all have great restaurants, great food. The Hawthorne's done a great job of really updating the OTBs and embracing being the OTB game in Illinois. So it's going to be a great time. I mean, no matter where you're at, Hawthorne is player friendly. Whether you're betting with Club Hawthorne and getting some rebates to them or whatever you do, it's just they're embracing the player. This is a great contest. 3 days, no entry fee. Was it $400, $500? I don't remember what it was, but it's going to be a great contest. Historically, people have flown in from all across the country to play in these contests. First time I met Josh in person, we were at Hawthorne. Remember that?
Yep, and Shu was there too, yeah.
Shu was there. A guy from North Carolina was there. I mean, it's one of those contests that brings people in. It's like the Lone Star thing. People fly in just for the contests.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll be around. I think I might play a day. I haven't decided yet. But either Friday or Saturday. But yeah, anyways, we'll catch you guys later. Like I said, on thewronglead.com, buy a t-shirt. There will be a Black Friday sale next week. I think t-shirts are going to be $12. So if you are looking to buy a t-shirt, maybe wait till next Friday. You can get them, pick up a t-shirt for $12. And then yeah, we'll catch you guys later.